Hello everybody and welcome to Stylish Grease Monkey. Today we're going to talk about 5 things that men should own that last 10 years or more. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris. I am so glad you're back here and we're going to talk about men's grooming and style. For those of you that are new to my channel, please check it out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. When I was in my 20s, I pretty much bought everything that's trending and didn't care about quality. When I met my wife 20 years ago, I noticed that she owned quality pieces. She didn't own a lot of things, but she owned quality pieces. I didn't buy any of those quality pieces because they were quite expensive back then. I didn't quite get the buy once and last long, so I bought a lot of things, but if you add it up, it's actually probably more expensive than just buying quality things. So lessons learned from my wife. Hopefully for those of you that are younger and watching this video, you learn a thing or two from here and then go ahead and make that happen and hopefully own quality pieces that will last you forever or at least 10 years or more. The first thing that I want to talk about that we should invest our money on is timepiece. You know, going into the 21st century, I get it, you know, there's a lot of trends that's changed as well. And right now, of course, Apple Watches are on trend. I am not hitting on Apple Watches, but Apple Watches or anything electronic will only last probably the length of the time that it's on trend. Now, I'm talking about timepieces that last forever. So back in the days when we watch movies like James Bond movies, it cast, you know, accessories for men that are that last forever, such as a timepiece or a watch. You know what I mean? So what we do is we watch the movie, we dream about these timepieces, and then eventually we're able to afford it. You know, we save money, able to afford these things, and then buy it. And so I own a few timepieces that I know will last forever, will always going to be a classic, and will always going to be style. And I'll pass it on to my son, and hopefully my son will hold on to it and pass it on to his son, so forth and so on. That's the kind of timepiece I'm talking about. The next men accessories that I'm going to talk about that you should invest your money on, save, and this thing lasts a long time, more than 10 years or forever. Dress shoes, right? Again, going back to my younger years, I bought a lot of dress shoes that was trendy, but they weren't real leather. They weren't the classic ones that last forever. Now, I'm talking about dress shoes that are classic now and will be classic forever. I'm talking about dress shoes such as my To Boot New York that I bought a while back, wingtip, brogue, you know, brown. It goes well with the navy blue suit, gray suit. You know, it just makes suits look so good because the shoes are awesome and it looks so good. It is quite expensive, but that is the main purpose of it, was saving something for it, buying it quality, and hopefully it lasts a long time or forever. I suggest you own 2 types of shoes, one brown shoe and one black shoe. The next one is probably not as important, but I noticed that I own multiple of these, but none of them matter, right? I'm talking about belts. You know, back in the 80s when I was growing up, the only belt that we are allowed to own were leather, real leather belts. There's a lot of synthetic material that's used on belts nowadays, and then there's a lot of trendy belts with belt buckles that are, you know, that are initials and things like that. I'm not talking about those belts. I'm not talking about synthetic belts. I'm talking about real leather belt. So if you have a real leather belt, you know, the ones that are real, you can guarantee that leather belt will last you a lifetime. That is, of course, if your waistline don't change. So invest, go look for those real leather belts that goes with your shoes, and then buy multiple of them, and you know they will last forever. Just like your shoes, if you buy the right belt, those shoes and belt combination will last you a long time. The third thing I want to talk about that a real man should own that lasts 10 years or more or forever are cars. Now, I'm not talking about today's cars, right? Because there are some of us that go out there and buy cars knowing they will only probably last about 2-3 years because a new model will be out there, and then we're gonna go trade in the car that we own now into the new model. But I'm talking about the classic cars, classic American muscle cars. If you can afford one or find one, it doesn't matter what it is. If you buy a classic American car, I can guarantee you that that car will last you 10 years or more, especially if you learn how to work on it or you have the patience for older cars like that. It will always gonna be a classic. It will always gonna be something that will be noticed on the streets, and it will never go out of style because it is already a classic. So classic cars. I own classic trucks and motorcycles because I know those things will last forever, and those things are me and what I'm gonna do for a living down the road. So classic cars, trucks, or motorcycles. The last one, if you are a real man and you want to own something that will last you 10 years or more or forever, if you're a real man and now that you own those things, those cool classic things, is a multi-tool. I know that sounds silly, but look around. If you are a man, you probably own a knife or some type of a multi-tool or a multi-tool. I'm talking about like Leatherman. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, they're quite expensive when you buy them initially, but those things last forever. I mean, as long as you don't lose them, you can pretty much whip this thing out anywhere you are, cut open boxes or fix things with it. Like it has a screwdriver, it has a can opener, it has a bottle opener, anything and everything you need. That's why it's called a multi-tool. If you own one of those, keep it in your pocket all the time. You know, that is what real man, for me anyway, is all about. Unless you're wearing a suit, obviously, and you go in a corporate world. But most of us are normal. And here in Stylish Grease Monkey, most of us work as a mechanic, blue collar job, things like that. And also want to look good. But that's why it is Stylish Grease Monkey. Hey, it all makes sense later on when I finally get out of the military, go back home and work on my cars and motorcycles, but yet maintain to be stylish. That's all I have for you today. 5 things that will last you 10 years or longer. And hopefully you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. Hey, listen, those are the 5 things that I think that a real man should own that will last 5 or more years. I'm pretty sure there are more things out there. So if you do think, if I forget something and you want to talk about it, please don't forget to write it down in the comment section below. Leave a comment for all of us to see on what those things are in addition to what I've already talked about. I will talk to you later.